Okay, Uncanny Echo, issue 6, Bargains, where you all are magicians who have made deals with the devil and band together now to get your souls back.
You say magicians or musicians? Sounded like magicians.
You could be both. I don't know what I said. It's supposed to be musicians, like you play the music, people. Yeah. So we've got our traditional six-sided clock. I'll give you the what call it, the thing for rolling dice. Roll for your party. Same thing. See, we're good. We're reusing the same room for like a year. All your stuff is still there. Blast from the past, last adventure. Wow. So cool. The idea with this one, specifically different than the last, is your first key is revealing something about the devil in that your own dealing has revealed. Kind of like, think of it as like Blades, where we're going to choose what your plan is, but you're all providing a detail about that plan that exploits your own deal with the devil and sort of makes them vulnerable to you. And it's our fictional positioning to get back at the devil. Otherwise, ostensibly, you'd never be able to pull this off, yada, yada, right? It's only that through assembling all of this knowledge that you can have at them. And I've been careful about not assigning gender to the devil as well, so we can play with that as well. When you're doing your flashbacks, it can be whatever. It could be a nebulous thing even, right? Let's see. So first thing we do is we got our clock, boom, got it, done. Then we answer questions. So the first thing we always ask is, what kind of uncanny are we going for with this episode, right? Dark, gritty, intense, scary, etc. What do people feel like?
So the only thing I can think of is this has, at least in my mind, like using like musicians and the devil, has a possibility of being very, very dark or very zany. And
Right.
like I want to try to figure out like where we want to be on that. I'm okay either way. But like I could see if I just want to make sure that we're consistent on it.
Yeah.
I was I was kind of thinking like really weird, so that might be able to fall somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like super strange, but I guess that could be like an area in between those two. Like, you know, like zany's up here and the super dark here, and like strange is, you know what I mean, in terms of just out there strangeness, but not necessarily zany. Do you know what I mean? Like hard to fathom. I don't know if I'm smart enough to do that, but
Yeah, we could probably assign strangeness to either of those. You mean, right? Yeah, it's on a spectrum.
Yeah. I think so.
What about everyone else? Yeah, Lauren.
I know that I was telling Alex about this, and oh man, it started to go pretty dark pretty quickly. So I think I'm naturally inclined towards quite dark stuff. But then I'm good for Gonzo if that's the choice we make going into it.
You mean dark like sad though?
Yes.
Because I know you.
I'm leaning towards sad dark as well.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Sad dark it is.
Sad dark and strange. Don't forget the strange.
Yeah, no, definite strange.
Yeah.
I'll be the comic relief without trying to ruin the tone there. I'm not feeling heaps sad and dark.
So for me, this feels like strange, sad, dark, possibly intense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun.
So, questions to answer about the devil. Can take the form of anyone or has one uniform appearance. What do we think is most interesting?
I like the idea of kind of a shapeshifter. That way, the devil can appear in a form that suits our individual stories.
Right.
Yeah. Have you guys seen It Follows? Oh, yeah, that horror film? Ah, okay, never mind. the ghost in that can like take on the form of like your friends and family and stuff like that. It's real creepy.
I was gonna say, if it's something that shapeshifts, I like the idea that there's some tell or something that like we can always tell that that's the devil. But like maybe if you're just like getting a quick glance or seeing it from behind or something like that, that like you wouldn't tell. But like if you're
That could also be a good thing for like your like the plan or whatever, that you know, like if you can fake
The
that you
detail.
haven't seen, you don't know about the tell, but you have worked it out. Like, yeah.
Yeah, detail that you
I'm just gonna
reveal
go
that you
shut those
exploit.
lowercase up.
Okay. The birds are getting restless tonight. Cool. I'll put
Devil
these
birds.
in chat as we answer them, just so we can refer back.
It's really quiet.
Yeah. No,
I'd like the devil to appear for me as an octopus. Would that be? I like that as being kind of along the strange realm. Can our devil be animalistic as well?
yeah, I think if it can take any form, then that's on the table, right?
But I wonder if it has a true form as well. That could be interesting. You know what I mean? Like it can appear as
Cthulhu.
anything. Yeah, like you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Like it's capable of appearing. I just like that idea in the, you know, especially if it's something like actually like, I'm just thinking in the arc of the story, if its true form is actually like something that is vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not actually a scary or intimidating thing. Anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think this is just to get us thinking about it. I don't think it has to be like restrictive. It's just to get us all into like a headspace and thinking about it and stuff. So, do we think that the devil is subtle or overt when addressing obstacles?
when we're talking about obstacles, are we talking about like the obstacles that we would put forward to it, or the obstacles that like we might be asking it to help solve?
I think when it sees an obstacle and addresses it. But so probably larger problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of the like, is it the Constantine, the devil's like whispering in your ear to make you do things, or is it straight up like a person that's like, you're gonna kill yourself now? That kind of thing.
I kind of like the idea of that kind of
Both.
puppeteering, like the devil pulls strings and things happens, and with uncanny or like undesirable consequences as well, like that double-edged sword kind of thing.
Sure. I wonder, I can always amend it, I guess, and have or and.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys are like, let's fuck us up. Good.
Yeah, like I'm kind of thinking, I'm just like thinking about what might happen in the story just slightly as well. And you'd imagine if the devil was subtle and became frustrated, that they might move into try like behaving more aggressively and directly. You know what I mean?
So the thing that I think of when I think about this, I'm totally on Lou's side about this, is like where it's maybe starts subtle and then gets like more obvious. But like to me, I think it sort of depends on the person that's like being a recipient. So like if I'm somebody who has a real like fear of like not being able like in action or something, like the devil being really obvious and overt of like holding my body still where I can't move it, or is like forcing me to walk in a direction and I have no control, would be really scary. Even though that's not subtle, but like that would be something that they could do to do that. Whereas the other like subtle one is like you do a bunch of things, you think you won, and then you find out that you did something heinous or whatever it is afterwards that played into the devil's hands could also be really scary and terrifying, but from like a totally different angle.
Yeah. Well, I think when I was writing it, I was thinking more of like a behind the scenes sort of person, or they take direct action in their agency, right? So are they pulling the strings, or are they the ones actually there and doing the things? Or if Lou likes, we could do and, right? They are subtle and overt, and interpret that how we like. Because you guys are going to be the ones contextualizing it anyway, right? When you do the flashbacks and provide the details and stuff. So these are just like constraints to help you think up what those flashbacks are going to be in the future.
So I'm leaning towards like at least starting like subtle, because like one of my favorite quotes was the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that never existed or it doesn't exist. And so like that whole like subtle thing of like you don't really know that it's true, but maybe there's some of us who do, but like we can't convince anyone because like no, the devil's not real.
Or like like I'm imagining some sort of contract being signed. That's like, what are those contracts called where you're not allowed to, like a non-disclosure, but it's like binding, like you just actually can't talk about the devil. Like once
cool.
you've signed it.
I like that. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna put is subtle and may become overt when addressing obstacles then. And so the devil knows all of your past sins, and with that knowledge they themselves tempt ordinary folk into committing various sins, or may only use various agents and proxies in the world to exert their will. Or is this another and situation, Lou?
Why limit us on how much we can get screwed over?
It is trying to help you guys out. I don't know.
I like the idea of like tempting directly, but that leads into the sins, like the agents. Like to me, one of the things that's the most scary is when you're trying to like defeat somebody, or like when the person coming at you is somebody that you don't really want to do anything, but they're convinced that like, no, I have to do this. And if it's like they're coming at you with a lot of violence with meant to kill, but you're like, I don't want to kill you, how do I diffuse the situation without doing something like that?
Okay. Yeah, and so I mean they could still use proxies in that way, but we know that it is them doing it, right?
Right.
Not like a buddy or whatever. Or something more nefarious of a term than that. Hey buddy. With that knowledge, they reveal themselves only when the opportunity presents itself, or are everywhere all of the time in every corrupted evil or bad. In everything corrupted, evil, or bad.
I like the second one.
You would.
See, I kind of like the first one.
Sorry,
what?
Yeah,
I kind of like the first one. They only present themselves when or reveal themselves when opportunity presents. Like they're waiting for the right time.
Yeah, I actually kind of like, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're not there all the time, like waiting for the opportunity to. Why not both?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
So do you want the first one or do you want both?
I reckon they're there all the time, in everything, waiting for the opportunity to manifest themselves. You know what I mean? So maybe they're there in a passive sense. Do you know what I mean? Kind of listening and watching, and then I don't know. That's how I think of it. Otherwise, how would they know when the moment was right to act?
Okay. So we'll do and again, I guess. Cool. So then you create your characters, keeping that in mind, with the stat block, which is on page before. I'll just copy and paste it for you guys. Here's the stat block that corresponds, left to right with each one, with mind, resolve, and soul. It's just hardcore capitalism, Lou, or Ellen. That's what it is.
I'm familiar with the buy one get one free, but
Yeah.
acronyms, jeez.
Yeah, here it's literally they won't even tell you what it is. They just assume that you know the acronym, and they're just like bog off on the sign, and you're like, okay,
Bog off.
yeah. Well, it makes sense. Subvert the capitalist pigs. It's also worth noting too that I made the keys even more of a like a targeted key. Like it would be hard not to hit all of these things to get your moves, right? Which means there's also kind of like an implied secrecy a bit to like your deals that you'll be revealing throughout it, as opposed to like revealing all of this stuff in maybe like a character creation session. And the only reason for that is just pacing. Also, I was very amused by the names on the musician sheet. And so was Jason. Jason did the dev editing, and he had like a little like clapping emoji or something next to that.
And the move names are good too. I'm trying not to get "Man in the Mirror" stuck in my head every time. I'm like, no, don't start singing it to yourself.
Yeah, totally. Oh, as a thing that I'd wondered about too is, do you guys like the way that I've arranged the spreads this time and last time? Like how it's like singles which become doubles and then back to singles? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
I like how it's got a bit more like differentiation, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the double spread, at least for some of the stuff. I thought it was really good, especially like the text with the pictures. I thought looks really, really good, and I think that with the right text, like on the doubles, also like has a lot of information that's really useful.
Cool.
I'm interested to hear what kind of musicians everyone wants to be. What are you gonna be, Yoshi?
Like, what instrument am I playing? I don't know what instrument I'm playing. I imagine, are we all I sort of imagine that like we're all different musicians that have made deals completely separate, and we just happen to be meeting up. It's not like we're playing in the same band or anything, right? But from along those lines, I kind of like the idea of playing like something that's portable, so maybe like a guitar or something like that, where I have the ability, like something that I do with my hands opposed to something that I do with my lungs, type thing. Just because, and also something portable, because like I'm like, oh yeah, I play the grand piano. Like, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Nice.
I'm just an old Mozart.
I'm sure you can get wheels on pianos.
Now, if we had gone zany, I'm like, yes, I play a piano. No, it's got to be at least a stand. Keyboards are out. That is sacrilege. You cannot play a keyboard. But we're not going zany, so.
Even though we're not going zany, I'm definitely going to play a sousaphone. You know, they're like the step in. They're like a tuba, but you like can step inside of them, like the New Orleans thing.
I think I'm just gonna go classic then, and I'm gonna go super classic and go with fiddle.
Yeah, they're definitely the ones that make deals with the devil most often, fiddle players.
I'm going to be playing a Celtic harp.
What's that?
A Celtic harp? A clarser.
Like a classic minstrel harp, right?
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
not a chamber music harp, but like a portable harp.
Let's see how big this link is for you to see what I'm going for. Oh yeah, no, that's what?
It's just like a classic bard's harp. Yeah.
I think I might just go super classic and have like a really good singing voice.
You guys are quite the fusion band. Nice. Dig into the pictures. Definitely look like the devil, Yoshi. Got some devil in you.
Mm-hmm.
Your the photo makes me Yoshi think of like some like kid that's from the Appalachian Mountains or something that's come out to as like a virtuoso and come down out of clean themselves up and
When people are done, let me know, and then we'll go answer the other questions and pick a plan.
For our city, we're going with like a big city type thing.
Yeah, it generally, I think all the stories will take place in the same city or similar something,
Mhm.
playing around with time. And I think it's like a pretty big city.
Cool.
I don't know what we described it as before, but it always seemed big, especially with the medic one, right? It
The
seemed
medic one made it feel huge.
Yeah.
And like I think the first one it felt a lot smaller because we were playing in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, the heist one made it feel kind of big because it was big enough to have like a massive kind of bank in, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm all finished.
Do you want to introduce your character then?
Yes. Okay. So my guy is called Willem. I'll write it in the thing. Do you know that it's a Welsh name? Well, I think it is anyway. That's the context I've heard it in. And he is a kind of portly white guy. He's like wears one of those like straw trilby kind of hats and a vest and a tie, and he plays the sousaphone, which is one of my favorite instruments, and always makes me feel like the person must have signed some sort of deal with the devil to even be able to play it, because you need like such amazing like breath to like to be able to even like get a single note out of the thing. But the best players are all like and all these amazing bass lines and stuff. Yeah. In terms of my stat spread, I chose to put, I got the +3 in soul, so -2 mind, 0 resolve, all soul. Do you need to know anything else yet, or is that good?
No, that's fine. No, that's
Cool.
good.
Do you want the answers to like the initial questions? Like create your characters and answer. Oh no, that's more for later on. Never mind.
Yeah, those will be back to general stuff.
Cool. All right, I've got my guy. My guy is Kurt Silver. I showed you the picture before, so he's like a young white guy with like light brown hair that's kind of not like short, but like it's just above his eyebrows. It's messy. and yeah, he plays the fiddle. He plays the fiddle really well, both like classical violin, but also just like fun country music, like type thing of like dance music type stuff.
Cool.
I'm Fidel. She is a small town country girl, Celtic background, and she's been sent to the big city to try and get into the Conservatorium of Music with her clash search, which is a traditional Celtic harp. And she has 0 mind, 1 resolve, and 1 soul. She wants to get this done.
Cool.
Does it leave me? So my character is Lucinda, or Lucy for short. She has that kind of intense gothic look about her, and is quite an intense, dramatic person, I think. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, Lucifer. And she was a really crap singer growing up, like super tone deaf, and gained just this amazing, captivating, hypnotic singing voice that she uses to sing and stuff. She's probably about like sort of 20, super young, probably didn't quite know what she was getting into when she made her deal. Do you want to talk more about like the ramifications of it? I guess it comes out, yeah, during play and stuff. So I'll hold on to that for now.
Yeah, you just have to think about it.
That's I'm playing a silly teenager.
Cool. Who is Kurt Silver? Yoshi. Who is that? Or is that the name of the person?
That's the name of my guy.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, I'm basing this on a person named Kurt Silver. And I was like, I don't know who that is.
No.
Okay.
That's my name.
That makes sense. Why doesn't everybody type their names in chat, actually? That will be helpful for everyone, probably. Lucifer. It's the Morgan with a plot twist. Cool. So after that, has anything pursued you while your soul has been in jeopardy? The devil themselves, hellhounds, strange occurrences, or simply signs that your soul is in jeopardy, etc. This could be the part where you're like, I'm 200 years old. Part of my deal is I can't die, and all that kind of stuff, right?
This is so good, Fraser.
I just was having a flashback to that Cowboy Bebop episode with the weird little dude playing the
harmonica.
Yeah, messed up.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do a callback to like the issue we just had where we were all like priests and stuff killing the devil. I think that my character, I like the idea that like my character's being pursued by dreams of that time where it's all like very dark ritualistic flashbacks to when we were trying to kill the devil.
The Gathering.
Yeah, The Gathering.
Cool.
I know we talked about it last time we almost started playing, but do we have an implied like a setting, or are we just going like what present day in this city that we've previously been in now?
It could be whatever you guys want. I think the assumption is that it was present day, but we can always just like with the Faith one be like 30 years ago or whatever, especially if you want it to be like speakeasy time or something like that, right?
Yeah, cool.
And of course, there could part of making it uncanny could be that there is a place like that in the city that nobody knows about too, right? That would be a neat thing, like a little Constantine where you like go to this little back alley place and it's like a speakeasy with all this weird shit going on, and it's like looks like Prohibition era or something, but isn't, and it's like out of time and all that. I'm super into that and making weird, uncanny, strange shit happening.
I mean, have you guys read The Name of the Wind?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
like that reminds me of the like tavern bar that they have where people like the musicians get their pipes, like if they're good enough.
Yeah, totally.
Like to me, this would totally sound like
Yes.
that's maybe the connection. If there's this speakeasy, like we all have the pin or the hat or the symbol that like we killed it one night and we got that pin, and that's like where we're all tied together.
Right. And it would be like fictional positioning for anyone in that place to talk to each other, right? Because it's like mutual respect instantly, right? Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Does anyone else have any signs of being pursued or hellhounds on your trail, strange occurrences, signs, anything like that going on with your characters?
So I think for me, I definitely do. I think what I see all the time is I see flames that are green, but nobody else necessarily does it, and that's how I know it's like the devil's presence is there. Is so like the classic like people throw like lighters up for like in a crowd, like I'll do that, but like I'll see like a green flame in one of them, like all the rest of them are like the normal orange flame, but there's like one of them, and like that's sort of like the signal to me that like, oh yeah, don't forget you're here, like I'm still watching you.
I think Willem has might have like since this deal with the devil has had kind of like prophetic dreams about his success, you know what I mean? So like he knows when he'll dream about a particular, opportunity or gig or whatever as he's been moving like upwards in fame. And so he kind of, it's that reminder that he like owes all of his success to the devil.
Cool.
Vidal sees just in the corner of her eye or in crowds, like ancient faces and like her ancestors potentially that may have also been involved with the devil or have pushed this familial need to play this instrument. So she's haunted by her ancestors.
Cool.
I was going to say before Lauren said the thing about in chat about that she has dreams about being hunted down and killed. I think maybe Willem's like has, if he doesn't follow the kind of script given forth in the prophetic dreams, like he's tried to stray from those things before, and then like really bad shit has happened. So it's like, so now he just knows to like go along with it. Yeah.
Cool.
Lou, I think you and I are going to have very like inverse waves of our story, which I think is going to be super neat.
Well, what is yours though? Is there anything?
Oh, for being pursued and stuff?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh yeah, no, I totally think it's like she has like sort of recurring dreams that plot like the death of her career. So like it's very similar to what Lou was saying, where she needs to like keep being famous and keep performing well and like keep making sales and stuff and like being recognized and renowned. And is like worried about what will happen if that stops and if she strays outside of like the deal that she's made. And I think that manifests in sort of like those like dreams where she's being like pursued and hunted down by like dark shadowy priestly figures back in like from the gathering where yeah, they're trying to hunt her down and kill her. Get the devil out of her.
Cool. That's all well and good. In keeping with our tone.
Yay.
Cool. So fourth step is to pick a plan. And these are just options. We can make our own, but I tried to make them fairly evocative of the genre and interesting and the likely things that I would recall. So there's the plan that you all come together to do is kill the devil or an avatar of them, find a loophole or invalidate a current contract or agreement, strike a new bargain, transfer the debt to somebody else, blackmail them, give them something they'd rather have than your soul, or perform some kind of ritual or rite that does one of the above. Same thing, just a little sprinkling. Is any of those interesting to people?
I like the idea of having to perform a ritual. And like team ritual, maybe?
Yeah, I was going for that with the ritual passing the I like the idea of foisting my agreement or debt onto somebody else, like getting rid of it.
We're gonna have some conflict.
Is it a ritual that some of you believe does one thing and others believe does another?
It would kind of work if it was the enterprise bargaining one, like the one where people think they're getting a new, like we're trying to negotiate our deal. You know what I mean? Like, and so that means some of us could be like, kind of like I could be trying to get rid of my thing, and others could be trying to deepen the relationship, or yeah, I don't know. That could potentially work.
So, like, I imagine if we're like almost just jumping into play of me telling you guys stuff, because I think I tell you is like, look, my dad, or like my mom, Sarah, she had this contract before me, and before her dad Johnny had this contract. It's being passed down our family for 7 generations. Every new kid wants to save their parent, and the devil just lets us, extending the contract to kid after kid after kid. If you want to get your contract to somebody else, you can do it. It's been done. It was done a long time ago in my family, but I don't know if that's what you want. You want your kid or somebody else you know to take that, to save you? I did it. I saved my mom, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the right choice.
But what if I could give it to somebody who deserved it, like, you know, like some asshole. Like, I don't deserve this shit. What if I like?
If you could figure out some way to get it on some sleazy agent, I'm all for that. But I don't know how you're going to get that. Those guys are slippery motherfuckers. They won't accept any deal.
I guess it's something to. Yeah, how would I reckon I could trick someone. I mean, it's pretty amazing being able to play the way that I do. If I just told them all of the good parts and left out, you know, the whole terrifying nightmares and being hunted by the devil parts, you know, that it could seem like it was attractive.
Does that mean your skill would go away too?
Who knows? Sousaphone's very hard to play. Maybe you can't play it without. Maybe every sousaphone player has made a deal with the devil. You just can't play it without some sort of diabolical assistance.
Nice. Sure.
I've like carrying on from like that conversation. I'm imagining us like sitting around like at a booth in that like tavern, and Fidel's like listening to this and being a little bit terrified. I don't think she quite understands like her family history with the Claire search, but she can relate.
Yeah, it's kind of like
to Kurt.
It's kind of like a Reservoir Dogs thing, right? We're all in like a booth, and it's like out of context, it just opens on you guys talking about hoodwinking the devil, and it's like all jarring and stuff. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
And I kind of like
drinking whiskey.
Yeah, I kind of look like that. It potentially looks like there's kind of weird anachronisms in there because it looks a bit like a like super old tavern, but we're probably dressed in like, you know, fairly modern clothes and using, you know, we're speaking modern language and stuff, so it seems kind of strange.
You get those lights that like the chandeliers that are meant to look like candle lights, but like they're just the LED like lights that flicker.
Look, I don't want to put this on anyone. No one deserves this kind of torture. I think if we work together, we can find some sort of loophole. You know, you can trick the trickster.
Give the devil a dose of their own medicine, do you mean?
Yeah, let's show him that he can't hold us.
I'm game.
Look, I don't care if we have to fuck someone over or if we find a loophole. I just need to get out of this fucking contract. At the end of my contract, it's terminated. I'm terminated. I won't exist anymore if we can't get out of this, so I don't give a shit.
How long do you got on your contract?
As long as everyone loves me. As soon as that's done, the devil doesn't have a use for me. I'm useless.
Oh no, you become Britney Spears.
No, you saw through my my motif.
I like that was the whisper of the devil in listening to you'll become Britney Spears.
So good.
I'm trash once this is over, man. This gig can't last forever. I thought it could, but it can't.
I mean, there are some pretty old musicians who are still loved long into their heyday. You might be able to last it.
I don't know if I can take that risk. The pop culture is fickle.
Yeah, you could say that again. The one thing I am kind of reminded of, has anyone played Red Strings Club before? No? Red Strings Club is a, like, go figure, cyberpunk game, but in this future, there is a bar that is sort of like uncanny and like nebulous and strange, but one of the main characters is the bartender there, and they can mix a drink that hits a spot in your soul that makes you like feel a certain way. So they can mix you a drink that makes you feel sad or elated or guilty or whatever. And I kind of like the idea of you guys assembling the components to make a song feel that way to get your way with the devil, like them coming to visit you and you playing the perfect strong song that like elicits whatever, right? Like I don't know. That's one idea that I just thought of. That would be cool.
Maybe like sympathy and regret. So I don't know if we like perform mournfully, and the devil is in audience, but we'd have to get the bartender on our side.
Well, I don't know if it has to be the actual drink, but I mean like your music is the thing that does that. It like is the vehicle instead of the drink in this one, and it would be like yeah, like I like the idea of the devil, especially if it is like the fallen angel not having the ability to feel and you making them feel or something like that, right? So yeah, like making them feel contrition or sadness or literally anything, and that's the thing that gives you the leverage, right? Like the fact that they felt anything is the like, sure, I'll give you something in return or whatever. That would be interesting. But I don't know what other people are vibing on because some people it seems like they want different things. Because are you guys vying for a different deal, each of you, or is it one thing that you're shooting
I like
for?
the idea that the ritual could potentially, like result in us getting different outcomes. That seems kind of like a fun thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like each of your parts could elicit a different thing, right? And for each one, a completion of a specific ask of the devil or something. That seems cool.
I have an idea that could kind of like combine all of this. Like we transfer the debt to the devil. like somehow wind it back so it's on them.
Yeah, that's totally what I was thinking by saying give the devil a dose of their own medicine. Like they become contractually obliged to do the things that, like to become like, all of the pieces of those agreements. I guess that also means if they took Lucinda's thing, they'd have to become heaps more popular and remain popular, which could be funny.
Cool. So
they become part of the family, like obligation. Yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah. Interesting. So, okay, so we're on board with everyone wanting to do a ritual. And then this ritual will get different things for each different person, right? Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and to me, I think like the weakness we're trying to point out here is the devil is greedy in the sense that they always want more, and so like if we can trick them into a gamble, a wager where they'll get more, but we win the wager, we can get something else.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I wonder if I'm sure we'll play like and work it out, but I'm just tying it back into maybe I wonder if the wager could be that making the devil actually feel something is the like can you like it's like yeah no way you can't make me like feel anything, and we're like oh yeah listen to this thing.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I wonder what yeah. Okay. So is everyone's going for different things, right? Some people are going to transfer the debt, other people getting some like different action going on, right?
Yeah, well, I was initially thinking of trying to find some total asshole to give my contract to, but what bigger asshole than the devil, right?
Right. Fair enough. Cool.
Maybe the ritual could be that we figure out how to combine our instruments and play the most emotional, heart-rending song.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Oh Lord, it's getting cold in there, I guess. It's like Russia now. I like that.
It feels pretty cold.
Yeah. What is it actually?
Good question. It's probably something embarrassing, like 20 degrees.
It's 20 here and I'm like melting.
10 degrees.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, it's like a little chilly, I guess.
Yeah, it's like not Russian cold, but whatever.
I should think not. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, I really like the idea of it being a song. Like it's sort of got that martial art component, right? Where you like learn the special song and can do the 5-finger death punch to the devil. Right?
The crane kick.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Cool. I like that a lot. So keeping that in mind. Yeah, and then we just enter free play basically. Cool. I kind of like the idea of Ellen's suggestion that the bartender has a deal with the devil and does do those kind of drinks. So I kind of like the idea over this conversation that you're ordering these like special drinks, right? And then it also could be an opportunity for searching for answers, like asking questions of the bartender, who I think there's some like urban legends about them being alive for a really long time, right? Like hundreds of years or something. Part of his agreement is that like
that's why the place looks still like like he's been around for as long as this place has been around, sort of thing. Like that's why.
Even we'll just lean into it all the way. Maybe the place just is the Red Strings Club, right? And I like the idea of his contract being like he was tempted for immortality, right? Like he makes those drinks and the devil's like, you should never die because this is like the bomb, right? I love these drinks. And him being like living forever, that's a good idea. And now like a couple hundred years later, he's like, fuck. Right? So
I like the idea that he's been running the same venue for like 200 years.
Yeah, and so it'd be kind of like a big thing for him too, right? Like he's probably mirroring the same sort of mediocrity or apathy that the devil is just with his long life, right?
I kind of like the idea if this is in like North America of some sort, like he had a bar back in Europe somewhere and then tried to like move over. He's like, yes, I'm gonna get away from it. And then like the first night he opens, the devil shows up again and he's like, fuck.
Yeah, nice. I like that a lot. Sweet. All right. So entering free play, you guys can now hit your keys, right? Do the flashback action, and then we'll say that this bartender is here, so you could search for answers and stuff like that too, like trying to concoct this song with this bartender guy or whatever you think, right? Just looking for information if you need it. What should this guy's name be? This bartender, do we think?
Definitely Mick something, but I don't know Mick what.
Mick something.
Mick or Mac, like that Scottish kind of or Irish like style. So okay.
I mean, he could just go by. He could just go by Mac.
Oh yeah, Mac.
Sure. Bartender. Boom, boom. Cool. So the idea with your first ones, your first keys, that is to frame something that will give you the fictional positioning to leverage this information and make the devil like susceptible to you. and that's how you would presumably. Ooh, I really like that, right? Like, so this is how presumably you write this song, even, right? Like, from your own experiences and deals with them through this conversation, you're basically writing the song, and then you would perform it. I even kind of like that would be such like an interesting TV show or movie, right? Where the whole show is them just writing this perfect song in the booth and then performing it. It's pretty good. I make good games sometimes, I guess.
So I think maybe what this is at a certain point, I come up to Lucy's character. Maybe like I pull her, or maybe it's still at the bar, or like at the booth that we're at, and I just like pull out this old like leather bound like journal like book type thing, and I pull it out and I just like lay it on the table. I'm like, this has been passed down for generations. Like we've been writing lyrics and everything in it, but maybe there's something in here that we can use. You're the one who's going to be singing all the words. Maybe if you can look through here and find the, I don't know, something that would be useful. But it's 7 generations of people with bargains with the devil trying to make something better. There's got to be something good in here.
She puts her hand on like the leather, and I feel like you can probably feel like the 7 generations in it kind of thing. Like it's super like well loved and worn and that kind of thing. And then I think she looks to you and she says, I often feel like I'm in the worst position here, but 7 generations of this. I don't know who's got it worse, you or me.
Man, they're both tough gigs. Mine is as long as I live. I don't have to please people, but I know that basically when I took over from my mom, she lost the ability to play. Her hand broke and didn't fix. It didn't fix right. She can still use it, but she can't play a fiddle anymore.
And how much time do you think you have left in you?
I think I've got a good long while, and unless something happens to me, but hopefully nothing happens to me, right? Right?
Hopefully. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. She's lying. It'll be fine. Thank you. Is there oh yeah, go Lou.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think I want this conversation to continue, but I'm thinking it could be a good time for Gwilym to flashback during this, because he was kind of thinking earlier maybe he'd be able to play still, like maybe. And so I think and do you want I don't want to jump in though. Wait, I can wait. Sorry.
I was gonna say, if you want to jump in, like you could like jump in like right after, like if this were a TV show, like I say, like, yeah, my mom broke her hand one point, and that when I took the contract, and so like you have like that split screen thing of it, like me like signing some deal with the devil, and at the other's like half of the screen, like you see something like the refrigerator falls on her hand and like shatters her hand or something like that.
Yeah, that's heaps what I was thinking, that it was a kind of side to the conversation thing. That's why I'm like, but I don't want the conversation to stop, but I want to do my thing now.
Right. So like as we're still having this conversation, like you can hear our voices, but then it turns, like the camera looks to you and you have that same split screen between you now and then something else. So what's the other thing you're flashing back to?
Oh, okay. So I'm going back to the actual making of the bargain, I guess. And I think like picture this is like in the swamps on the edge of you know, it's the New Orleans of this world that we're playing in. I guess it's a like music town with swamps next to it. And
I even like that it could be New Orleans, and then we just never learn the name of the actual city that you guys are in.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, cool. Or it swamps on the outskirts of this place could be another thing too, that it's an extension of this city. Yeah, and I think you see, I think probably there's this like young teenager who's but he's wearing the same sort of hat, so that you know straight away that it's Gwillem, and he's got this like massive sousaphone, and he's there trying to get like a sound out of it, and just squeaks are coming out of it. And there's like a teacher, there's like I guess an old black man near him, like kind of playing and trying to show him stuff. And then yeah, I think maybe you can see there's a little dremeled kind of like engraving in the old man's sousaphone that's like a picture of the devil. And he pretty much like puts his hand on it and it's like, you know, boy, you just can't play this thing without making a few sacrifices. And I think maybe that's all that we now we need to see something like your soul. And we yeah, I want to see something yeah, I think the old man's like, I've just about like I think he says I shouldn't be able to even still play this thing. I mean, look at how little I am. He's like, it's just you're not going to be able to do what you want to do without making a little deal. I'll introduce you to an old friend of mine. And I think that's all we see for now.
Cool.
Now seamlessly continue your conversation.
Yeah, I kind of like I dig like coming back to the conversation by opening the book and like sort of you get the of like heavy leather on the booth and like that dust from generations back, and the pages are like yellowed and stuff and things like that. And
I also totally think like you can see different handwriting because it is 7 generations, so it's like people writing in different styles and like yeah.
Totally. Like you sort of like if flicking between various like ages of various like writers and stuff. I love it so much. And I think Lucy, like as she's pouring through these pages, running her fingers like over the yellowed like old aging paper, she says like I don't have a lot of time left. I barely filled my last gig. And the only reason I am allowed to do this is because I have to sing things, messages, to influence my fans, my audience. If there's so many of them left, and as soon as that dries up, then it's curtains. So I need to get out. Like, fuck this. I'm not gonna let this motherfucker take me down this way. This is embarrassing and sad, and I'm not gonna go out like this. So
Well, I mean, if you're losing people, this sounds like the perfect opportunity to set up a concert or something, make it big, and we can all have different parts of it, and let that be the stage the devil comes to see.
that actually sounds nice. Thanks. And I'm not used to meeting nice people in this seat. Everyone's kind of a dick, so I'm glad I met you.
Well, I mean, it's not every day you met somebody else who's met the devil.
Indeed. 7 generations. Jeez.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I can invite our mutual friend to come and see us all play, right? You know, entice him here a little bit. I think maybe I could renew my offer to renew my vows with
Getting
him,
married
so
to him or what?
Well, we're pretty much all married to him, right?
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, I guess I think that's something that maybe we could all promise him maybe we could all promise him something a little extra, sweeten the deal a little bit.
Well, if somebody has a thing to flash back on, that would be a good point to be like, this is how we can get him.
Cool.
Totally be an exploitable detail that comes out of your thing.
I can have a flashback. So while this conversation is going on, Fidel is very quiet. She's, staring into her mulled wine, and the vision of the mulled wine changes slowly into like a dark rock pool on the edge of the coast, and she's standing there, and there's like massive gale force winds blowing, and her hair is like wild in the wind, and she's got tears streaming down her face, and she's got her clarisoche in her hand down by the side, and she's like screaming in frustration into the wind. She's like, fuck. I just need to do this one thing. And then in her desperation, she like sits on the rocks and starts sobbing. And when she opens her eyes, she sees some movement in the rock pool. And you see like this orangey, like purple, patchy, like octopus, like swimming in the water, and she's hypnotized by it, watching it while the coastal breeze is like chaos around her, and the octopus kind of sticks the top of its head out of the water, and it's choppy, but you can see its eyes, and its eyes look quite human, and they lock with hers, and she hears a voice, and it's in her head. It's not external, because as if you'd be able to hear anything in this wind. So everything seems to go still around her, and the voice in her head is rough and warm and cold at the same time, and it says, what is it you seek, child? And Fidel is, my family just wants me to keep tradition. They're sending me away to learn and to seek skills with this instrument, and I can't do it. I'm just not good enough. Like, I think that I can, but I can't. And this voice in her head sounds, and it says that we all have our limitations. I may not be able to feel the warmth and the love that you have for your family. I may not be able to feel anything, but I can give you the opportunity to please those that you love. And then cuts back to the tavern, and she looks looks up from her mulled wine. Hey, Kurt, I think the devil can't feel like we feel. I think that's why he does what he does. Because he can't get what we can get.
I like that. And also, maybe a good time to take a break on that bombshell. Cool. Okay, let's come back at 33. Sound good? Cool. Got a jacket there. Do you have a jacket, Lauren? Windbreaker. I can't hear you.
Like fully muted that whole time.
Yeah.
No, I put on proper pants and Ugg boots, so I should be warm.
Ugg boots and everything. Ooh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, it really is like visiting a cottage or something over there, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, hot water bottles, Ugg boots,
Yeah.
hats.
Gotta hit that fireplace up. Yeah, it's funny that. Yeah, it was 10 here, but that was pretty nice. 20 is a little warm today though, just because I'm here when the sun is directly hitting my office, of course. Of course.
Yeah, I feel like I look like a New Zealander now.
You feel like what?
I feel like I look like a New Zealander now.
Oh,
I'm just wearing a bunch of sweatshirts and sheep clothing.
nice. Gotta get that sheep clothing. And I know that like Uggs used to be pretty much like a huge craze here. I don't know if it still is or whatever, but when that first came out, oh yeah, like every girl that I saw on the street basically were wearing Uggs, but they get a lot of use here.
Here they've been a thing for ages, but they're meant to be like inside shoes. Like you don't wear them outside.
Okay. We don't.
Oh yeah, only it's kind of like a bogan. I don't know that word. Probably I don't know what the Canadian equivalent of a bogan is. White trash.
Oh, okay.
It's a white trash thing to wear like moccasins or Ugg boots, like down the street. Redneck, yeah.
Here it was like ascribed as like the like Valley Girl thing, right? Like Valley Girls would wear Ugg boots. It's not really redneck, it's more like yeah, like blonde teenage girls wear Ugg boots, basically.
That's me.
Yeah. But they would wear them outside because in Canada you don't wear any shoes inside at all, right? Ever. So yeah. Yeah, we don't do the American thing where like they always have sneakers on inside and stuff. I've always been like perplexed whenever I go to America and they're wearing shoes inside. I'm just like, do you guys wash your floors? Because you can just step on it then if you want. If it's dirty, I guess you can wear some shoes, but like, do you need arch support when you're walking around or something? I don't understand. I never understood that because most obviously, like all of the TV we consume is American here, right? So it's like a novelty here, kind of when we watch those shows, and people are like, especially if they're like in their bed and they've got sneakers on or something, we're just like, fuck these people, right? Yeah, that's this foreign concept. Ugg boots out. Giant Ugg boots. I didn't know it was even made in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's one of those things they're trying to protect the brand of now, like champagne and that sort of like, like not, they're the only ones that can make like the proper Ugg boots.
Right. Right.
It is so bizarre because to do that you need to claim that the type of sheep you farmed were specific to that region, and only that quality of wool grown in that region from that sheep on that place is good Ugg boots.
That's true. Seems strange.
It is very strange. I would find that claim very suspicious, so fishy. Not very good.
Yeah, but it's definitely a thing. Like they must have made money just if only from Canada, because everybody want them Ugg boots. It's like when Crocs hit here or something. It's like the same amount. Oh, roll for your party went dormant. There we go. Cool. So yeah, that was really cool, Ellen. That was a good thing to let the moment, gather some momentum there in silence. Cool. So, the bombshell there was that, like, yeah, the devil doesn't feel anything, but we could make them feel the things, right? And so, does anyone have a idea for how you would get the devil here, or is it just like they just come here or they're always listening, or what?
Yeah, I think they're always listening. Like, I see that green flame everywhere. Like, whenever I see it, so like I think they're always present. And I think maybe after, like, we come back from the commercial break, and we see, like, it comes back to Kurt, and I think he turns to Lucy after hearing that, and he's like, "Have you ever tried playing poorly? Like, because I can't do it. I've tried to play badly once I got this contract, and I can't. Like, even if I try to do it off key, miss notes, the devil does something. My fingers won't let me." And I thought it was strange. And I asked my mom why. She told me, she's like, because the devil wants you to play your music. It gathers willing people to listen, people that once they've heard your songs are susceptible to his whispers. Have you ever tried seeing if you play poorly? Maybe you have a different contract than me.
I mean, I've never tried, but I always hit the note. Like, I always
Yeah,
hit
I
the note.
know.
But I mean, the one thing that I notice that's different about me and you is I don't sing my own music. I sing his music. I sing what he wants me to sing. And I've never tried singing my own stuff. I'm afraid to sing my own stuff. I'm afraid of what will happen if I do sing my own stuff.
You gotta sing your own stuff.
Can I do a flashback? Is it mean?
Now do it.
Okay.
Can I say a one-liner on your way to your flashback?
Totally,
I
let's
think
go for it.
William just chimed in. He's like, "Yeah, I can only play great and better than great. Those are my two standings. Awesome and amazing."
I think this like flashback is like to we see like Lucy, but like very demure, like Ugg boot wearing Lucy, where she's like got very plain hair and like a cardigan or something. It's so different to like the intense like goth face paint and like feathers and like lace and tattoos and stuff. And she's in like a recording studio, and you get kind of like she's standing opposite someone where of course like their faces like shadowed out like just so you can't quite see who it is kind of thing. And we hear her singing, and it's like super off key and awful and dire. But we get this like flash of a smile from the person across the table from her, and they say like, "That was great. Like you've got something in you that is special and unique, and we really think that we could use you here," kind of thing. And they like slip the contract over to her, and she like beams. And as she goes to sign it, the person says, "Of course, you understand that this is like a two-way thing. We aren't going to be we're not a charity here. We're here to make profit, and we're here to spread a message. So if you do this, I can make you great. You will be great. You will be loved. You will be adored. But you need to toe the party line, so to speak. You need to sing what we tell you to sing, and you'll be famous. Your voice will be able to command the masses. You can make anyone do whatever you want to do. You can wrap anyone around your little finger. That is yours, but you have to be our puppet. You need to do what we tell you to do. And I think she shrugs that off. It's like, yeah, I'm sure, whatever. It's give it to me kind of thing. It's so she signs off the contract. And then I think we cut back to her with Kurt, when Kurt's saying you need to sing your own thing.
Yeah. You need to sing your own song. That's the hook. That's this concert. This is your new song. And the devil doesn't know about it. He's going to show up. He just has to. He didn't give you a song to sing. That's what's going to draw him there.
I think you see Kurt's words empowering her a bit, and she looks a bit more square in the shoulders and stuff. And she's like, yeah, fuck. I've been singing his shit for way too long. He's a shit lyricist anyway. It's time. Yeah, you're right. It's time I look him in the fucking eye and tell him just to fuck off. I thank you. I
think that'll make the devil angry, right? When you start singing your own song, and then when he gets angry, that's when we sucker punch him with some other emotions that are more difficult to feel. I mean, being angry is pretty easy. Once he gets angry, that's when he's opened up to, maybe grief and shame and other things that are, harder.
And I'm going to die either way. I'm either going to die obscure and unknown, or I'm going to die on my own fucking terms. And you sure as shit can bet which one I'm going to pick.
All right. I mean, we're in a tavern that is known for stellar musicians. We go talk to Mac. I'm sure we can go arrange something for this weekend, this Saturday night.
Fuck, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Cool. Okay, so you're talking to Mac?
Yeah.
Cool. I guess he must have he must be a ginger, right? To come full circle. To have no soul.
Boy.
Probably a bigger fella, heavy set. But yeah, I like the idea of him serving drinks that hit the soul spots, right? Like illicit grief or happiness or whatever. You actually feel a specific emotion when you drink his beverages.
I think while these whoever's going off to talk to Mac, I think that Willem's going to go and try to talk to the other musicians in the place to try get a back line, you know what I mean? Like a good drummer and a bass player and stuff to round out our band. And possibly they may have also signed deals with the devil, right? I'm sure we're not the only ones. If it's a place where the most amazing musicians play and there's been this ongoing relationship with the venue and everything, there might be others here that are in a similar situation.
Is it a thing where you have to have 3 pipes to play with you or whatever? If you have 1 pipe, you're sorry, we have to pass. You can't keep up with us, right?
Yeah, totally. I'm looking for the 3 pipes, or maybe they're oh yeah, they're probably made out of red, some sort of badges made out of red strings, dyed strings off of instruments or something.
Oh yeah, cool. I like that a lot.
Maybe in the shape of flame.
That's a good idea. Red string flames.
Cool. Yeah, I like that, and it'd be a good iconography for the place out front, right? Cool. So are you trying to get answers out of Mac mechanically?
Sure.
If that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we're going to need to hit those clock segments at some point.
Yeah. Implementing the things. Well, I think logically it'll probably go pretty quick when you actually do the song, because it'll be like each person playing their part, which would be 4. So really it's like a setup and a finish or something, and then you're done.
Okay. Yeah. And so like I think I'm going to go up to Mac, and I think it's going to be definitely talking to him. Like everybody knows Mac. He knows everybody. It's his bar. He runs the establishment, and so I think I get another drink. Like I go up to order like a round for the table type thing.
I think when he sees you coming, he kind of like sizes you up, and like typically can guess what people need or whatever, and he shifts it over to you. And when you drink it, what color is liquid courage?
For me, I think the liquid courage. You know what? It's probably like a translucent like green, or like that's the same color of the flames that I see, because like in order to like go up against it, like I have to stand in fear and face the thing that I fear.
Nice. I like that. And he's like, maybe you should take a shot of that first before you ask me whatever it is that you're gonna ask.
Yeah, and so I take the shot. Like it lights on fire. It's definitely one of those fire drinks that you have to drink quickly before it goes out. And I sip it, and it's definitely the green flame. And I throw it down and like turn the shot glass over on the table. And I'm like, all right, you know everybody here. I know you know my mom, and I talked with her. You knew her dad too, my Gramps. You knew his dad too. Nobody's that old and looks as good as you do.
Well, they say what's on the inside is what counts, right?
And I just nod, and then I look at him, and I'm like, I don't know the details, but I got a contract I'm trying to get out of, and we're thinking of playing a concert this Saturday to attract the right scouts, if you know what I mean. Think you willing to host something like this, or somebody could renegotiate a contract this Saturday?
So why don't you roll plus mind, and then I think the shot will give you a free question essentially, but you might be able to ask more to get additional information.
All right, I got an 11.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm a 10 plus ask 2, but I got a free shot. So I think it's the how could I get him to basically host a thing where he knows the devil's going to show up. Like,
right. And I guess now would be a good time too. Has anyone not revealed exploitable details yet too that could be used in this plan? Has everyone done one?
maybe we can recap what we got. I was talking about like how the devil is greedy and so always wants something more. I know the lack of feelings. So if we can get him to feel something, like that's the thing that he wants, that he cares about.
And my thought was like using the devil's voice like back at him. So like if Lucy can command the masses, like trying to turn that around on him, exploiting like his greed and his lack of feelings, and using her voice to give effect to those weaknesses.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of had the make him angry first as a way of like, because that's probably the easiest and most active emotion to feel, right? If you don't feel any emotions, I reckon anger would probably be the one that would be the easiest to understand.
Okay. Ooh, I have an idea then. How about I think to get your pipes, you have to be sponsored by people with 3 pipes, right? Like the only way you can get it. So maybe he says like Maggie over there doesn't have a pipe, but she deserves more than one. You sponsor her, you got a deal. And maybe like the reason why Maggie hasn't been sponsored before is because she's like not a part of the scene, right? Like she's oblivious to all this devil stuff going on. Whereas most of the pipe people probably have something.
Yeah, and I kind of look at him. I look at Maggie and look back at him. I'm like, if she gets her second pipe, it's just going to be an open invitation for him.
She and I have our own deal.
I just nod. I'm like, all right, I'll sponsor her, Maggie. She can even open for us on Saturday.
Nice. I like that little jab. So what do you think she plays then?
Can she be a drummer? We totally need a drummer.
Sure. Sounds good.
Cool.
And any other questions that you want answered? Because you got an additional 2.
I got an additional 2. I think I ask him. This isn't a question, but I'm going to ask him if he's telling the truth afterwards. But depending on his answer, I'm like, I don't know the details of your contract. It's different than mine. I've never seen you play, but you make absolutely the best drinks I've ever known. So I assume it's somewhere around there. If you could join in on our deal here, would you want to?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to ask are you telling the truth after his answer? So like maybe if he's lying, maybe figuring out what it is that I know that he's lying.
Yeah, I think he says yeah, but I don't know how I would help you other than offering up the establishment, which seems not as like a high bargaining chip. Like, what am I to you, basically, right?
And I'm like, look, we all know, and I hold like the empty glass up, and I'm like, we all know that a little bit of alcohol goes a long way to getting the crowd where we might need it to be. If you can help with that, I think maybe helping out, maybe getting the devil the drink that we need to get him in order to sway him into thinking a little bit irrationally, to making a wager he doesn't want to make. That can help us.
I think he says, I was hoping for just to hear Maggie play, and he like looks over at her, and I think we see like she's like looks like brave girl, right? Like she's got the red hair, and he's like, I just wanted her to hear her play because things get real monotonous, real boring around here, and when you're as old as I am, it's hard to feel much of anything. But if I can get both, I won't say no to that. And he's definitely telling the truth, right?
Yeah. I just nod, and I look at it. I'm like, all right, yeah. Well, we'll get Maggie to play. She can play right upside with us. Not even opening, playing with us. The big stage when everything comes.
Sweet. And so like, and his part is to like liquor up folks to be susceptible to it or whatever,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
serve them like moving spiritual drink things or whatever.
Yeah. We want the crowd
Cool.
on our side.
Okay, cool. I'll mark a segment with that. That's definitely a thing that will progress it.
Yeah, I'm good with the questions, even though I think I technically have one, but I'm good with that.
Sure, yeah. A lot happened, yeah. Cool. Okay. Who else has a thing that they would like to do? You want to make a scene of finding more people? Do you want like another person or something like that? Or kind of hand wavy them that?
What's the young woman's name that we just recruited?
Maggie.
Maggie.
Something like Maggie Malloy or something, right?
Cool. I was thinking maybe of some sort of I think because like the sousaphone player and the drummer have got to be super tight, right? Because it's like they're like the bass, like they're the rhythm section. Sousaphone's like bass lines and stuff. I'm thinking maybe of some sort of like one-on-one rehearsal time. Like maybe it's maybe we could skip forward a little bit even, and it's like the daytime in the there's not there's not as many patrons around, and it's just Willem and Maggie on the stage, like, and it's pretty much like sousaphone and drum and bass music right now.
Are you whiplashing her? Not on my level. not quite my time.
Yeah, I think maybe he's trying to push her, like he's stopping. Like it sounds amazing, and then like he's stopping her. I think it's more generous, so I think he's kind of like trying to bring her up to speed, essentially. But what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of using a move. I was kind of thinking of doing the running with the devil thing when you personify an aspect or personality trait. What does that do though? I just kind of really want a scene where I think it's going to be him playing and bringing her up to speed, and I kind of want the devil to like notice her in this scene. Like we see some indication. I want to crowdsource it though, like so these Willem and Maggie are playing on the stage, and like what's the like sign that we see that the devil has like noticed her in some way? You guys have any ideas?
I was sort of thinking that Fidel was seeing like one of her ancestors as a patron sitting in the audience, maybe watching you guys. So it's like 11 a.m. So it's only the drunks and the locals that are there, and this like old Scottish woman in kind of medieval wear, just sitting like nursing an ale and watching you guys intently, and whether or not you recognize that that's some apparition of the devil.
Yeah, maybe she lights a pipe and it's got like the green flame that we've seen in the like previous flashbacks or something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah.
I like the idea of Mac even being like seeing it as well and getting a little bit nervous for Maggie, right?
Yeah, because he's kind of involved her in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe And then I think maybe we see like a little bit after that, Maggie and Willem sitting at a table, and I think Willem's like I'm hitting the tell someone the ramifications of what the deal has had on your life. I think he's like, look, Maggie, I just want to be honest with you that you're getting involved in a pretty big thing here. There's this is probably going to sound crazy, but Saturday night, and I think maybe I kind of like that he goes to try to tell her, and then we see like a little flash of him like signing the contract, like, and it's zoomed in on the part that it says that you can't tell anybody that hasn't already signed a deal with the devil about the devil. We see him, yeah.
What about if you want to do running with the devil? That gives you advantage when you roll the next thing, right? Or when you roll the thing, it gives you advantage when you personify it and you're rolling something else already. So if you are like a rolling stone and convey that story through music, and she gets it that way, right? Because you can accomplish almost anything.
That's a good idea.
So like,
okay, yeah,
she's just like staring and drawn into the story, and that's how you tell her, right? And it's not like it's like a loophole around the contract, right?
Yeah, I think maybe he's like kind of stutters and coughs when he gets to that point. We see the thing, and then I think maybe he starts talking about like all of the different songs about the devil, you know, like Between the Devil and the Great Blue Sea, and like Devil Went Down to Georgia, and all of these. He's like, you know, like he manages to kind of talk around the thing. And then I'm just trying essentially to impart to her that like it's dangerous and that things have happened to him in his life that are like dangerous things, just so that she's aware of what she's getting into. I think that's my whole thing. I don't think I'm kind of flailing and not touching on moves, but I like what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah, like I think you can do that without having to trigger a move. It just depends if you want to accomplish something mechanically with it, then you could be running with the devil and triggering like a rolling stone. Yeah, but
well, do we want to see if what I'm doing has an effect, like mechanically? Like that could be interesting to see.
Yeah, like
the devil. I guess it's going to check how the devil gets involved in this. Seeing as I said, the devil has noticed it, right?
Yeah, like I like the idea of the music being something like it's just something that you and I negotiate, and then we see if it happens, right? So it could be like A, you convey your story to her, and B, I don't know, like guard her against it or something, right? Like in a way it's kind of guarding her anyway. If she believes in the devil, she might not sign a contract.
Yeah, not wanting to get involved with him in that way. Yeah.
And then we just adjudicate that to a roll, which would be good for when we go to epilogues, right? Because then you can epilogue her as well, like what happens to her if she signs or not or whatever, right?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm going to roll with 3d6 because of the running with the devil thing.
Yeah, and you have +3 soul too, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be hilarious when I fail.
It would be tough.
I've got like 5,000. I rolled a 5,000. No, I rolled an 11.
That's a good power level.
Yeah, it's like 13.
Sweet. Okay, yeah. So on a 10+, it happens, no problem, right? So you can just.
Boo.
That's good, right? That you're kind of like breaking the cycle, even though you don't know it yet, right? Depending on what happens to you all.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking I didn't really manage to impart it how I wanted to, but I was kind of trying to refer back to the other thing where I was Guillem's mentor kind of steered him towards the devil, and I'm trying to show that he's potentially in that position now, and he's trying to steer like this young person away from the devil.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, it was good. I like it.
Okay, I've clumsily gotten through it again.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's fine. Sweet. Okay. So and we'll also say like she's kind of like prepared, right, for the concert, for the sponsoring. That's it's like an ominous, right? The sponsoring. Yeah. So does anyone have any other scenes that they want to do? Just get to it, to the playing.
While Willem is like rehearsing with Maggie, and while Kurt is having that chat with Mac, just me and Lucy sitting quietly at the booth still, imagining her flicking through the notebook, and I look at her and like, why would you want fame?
Why wouldn't I want fame? Like,
It's you just want strangers to know you and you to not know them. That seems bizarre and revolting.
but like people will remember me like long after I'm gone. Like, it's really sad that I don't know. I might leave this place and no one will remember who I am.
But they won't really remember you because they don't really know you. They'll just remember the devil's words, and you were nothing but the tool.
I think like she sort of dips her head into her like her chest a bit and looks at her lap and is like, yeah, I mean, I get that now. I was a fucking idiot. I know I'm not me anymore. This isn't really me. And I don't know how to make it stop. Kurt reckons I can sing my own stuff, but I don't know what'll happen if I do that.
I'd like to hear it.
What if it's not good?
Then it's not good. It's you. And that would be fantastic.
But if it's not good, then I'm not good. Like,
what? So sending the word out for the devil is good. Being true to your own heart is not good.
well,
I think you're confused.
No, I mean, what if I suck? Like,
then you suck. That's it. I wish so badly that I didn't chase this dream of my family's to play an instrument, and I am nothing but the hand on the devil's strings, and what I would give to just go home and be myself.
Have you changed much then? Going through all this? Who were you before this?
I barely recognize myself. I feel so hollow, so empty. I can barely remember my parents' faces, but I see ghosts and they follow me.
Then who do you want to be if you go back? Is there any of you left there?
It's got to be better than this.
I think anything would be better than this.
Nice line to cut that on.
Nice.
Yay, I missed having sad feelings with Ellen.
Yeah. It sounds like somebody hit some keys. Or a key, right? The ramifications of the deal. It sounds pretty much like that. Did both of you do that?
I think I've hit the ramifications at least 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I understand what my ramifications are. Oh no, hang on, sorry, no. Of the deal. Yeah, I was thinking of ramifications of ending the deal. No. Yes, I think I've put that there.
Yeah.
Hit.
Yeah.
But so sad.
Yeah.
I left her both hollow, but I don't understand it 'cause I'm a shithead teenager.
Good job. Cool. Okay, so cut to the concert. Why don't you guys paint the scene a little bit? What do we see? What is it? Does it look different, or is it just like another evening? It's probably like got to be a little different because someone's singing for their pipes, right?
Yeah. I totally think like the flame motif of the bars all played up. Like there's definitely like signs on there. Like there's something big going on. Like word was passed around. Like everybody knows they're playing for their pipes tonight. And so like you just see things and it attracts people to show up.
I also like the idea of seeing that kind of like I'm picturing the pipes, the badge thing being like a concentric like flames, like icon, so like a little flame thing with another little flame and another little flame. Or maybe that's like you get a tiny one and then when your second pipes is like a concentric one around that or something. But I'm picturing also seeing that in the red strings, like in different, like, so maybe like up on the wall there's like a really old painting of that, and then out on the street there's like a neon like sign version of it, and like there's kind of this through the ages. Maybe there's photos up on the wall. Oh, that would be cool. There's totally photos on the wall with Mac, like through time, with all these different like musicians and stuff like that. And maybe there's heaps of people in the crowd with like their different like like rings, concentric like flames badges on and stuff. There's like heaps of people with the badges on here for this night.
I'd like to oh, sorry, Yoshi.
No, go for it.
Like torches like outside, so like big staffs with like flaming torches at the door. And I think there's probably like this tavern's in like a back alley somewhere, so I think there's probably a trail of torches from like the main street down this alleyway into the tavern. And I'm just gonna like put an image of potential pipe flame badges in the chat.
Cool. That actually works well with what I was thinking of. Like if we have the camera following, I think like we see the setup, and then like we maybe cut to like the main street where it's not this, and you see like somebody like looking at a flyer that's saying so and so is playing for their pipes. For Maggie the Magpie Malloy is playing for her pipes tonight at the Red Strings. Like come all, and like somebody just drops like a flyer down on the ground and somebody else steps on it, and like you just hear their conversation of like, if somebody's playing, they've got to be good. And this is probably like young musicians who are trying to like be the best and like learn things and like see other people, but like that's exactly the same people that like are susceptible to getting pulled into the same contracts everybody else is. And so like they're like talking it up as they kind of like stumble in.
Cool. Lauren?
I kind of like that the lighting inside is a bit weird, and it's like for Lucy anyway, you can only sort of catch parts of people's faces, like much like as the devil appeared to her, like back when she first signed this contract. So it's like the audience is very like sort of just mouths and like very weird, like hidden identity, obscured lighting.
Yeah, I think there's like the way in which the devil participates is probably like some audience participation thing. So it relies on people being kind of shitty, right? Like if you're really good, then the people cheer you and stuff. But otherwise, it's like kind of like the people that are like academics in musician stuff, right? Where they're just like, no, you're like trash, you're not playing it good enough and all that kind of stuff. Maybe each table has like a pass or a fail or something on it for each individual, and it makes the flames get hotter and hotter or something.
Yes.
The stage, something like that.
Yeah, I like that idea that there's some like maybe it's even something that it's like in the in political debates when they have the worm showing like favor for like maybe it's something that happens throughout the performance, so like you're able to give like anonymous feedback at your table while the performance is going. So if the flame's super bright, it's like, yeah, I like that idea.
Maybe every table has a lantern, and that depending on like how high you've got the lantern cranked up is how much your audience like are enjoying it. But also that could be quite manipulatable by the devil. It's a word now.
I actually kind of like the idea that maybe it's inverted. So there's some sort of light on the stage, right? And with approval, the lights on the table like go down because it's always weird to like play in a place that's like too well lit. So maybe if you're playing badly, you can like see all the audience and that they're disapproving. I don't know, maybe that's too complicated.
No, that sounds cool. And then also it also like mimics like you're in hell, right? Like it's really bright and fiery and blah.
Yeah, if you're playing badly, the flames rise. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool. So
could I want to do a Swords Without Masters thing, Fraser, where I ask you to like show me something that I'm interested in seeing. Can I do that? Like the ask a question of the world thing?
I don't know what that means, but yes.
Well, it's pretty much like you can either ask players like show me this, or you can ask the person, the over player, to show you something. I kind of want to see like the devil like entering the red strings in some way, like on screen. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some sort of figure entering that we see and we know that it's the devil, if it's something that you're interested in doing.
Let me see. I'm trying to remember if we did all right, because we did only reveals themselves when the opportunity presents itself and is everywhere all the time and all that kind of stuff, right? You guys did double whammy. Cool. So yeah, I think we see bits of the devil just in like the fervor of the crowd, right? Like and then there's definitely like an emphasis on gatekeeping of money and stuff to like get into this place. So it's sort of like the greed aspect of it is getting hungered on it, right? And maybe like, oh yeah, I know what it is. So all the money goes to like a non-for-profit charity person, right? And it goes to this one individual like chairman person or whatever, who I think looks pretty androgynous though. Like I'm thinking of Cooper and Twin Peaks. When he's like dressed just right, he's very like androgynous looking. So I think something like that. And it's got to be some kind of pretentious way. Like when we're following on camera, I like the Wicked and Divine thing where it's like all white and all that, right? Like a white suit with Lucifer. Lucy. But it's like a tracking shot of the person behind them, right? Where you don't get to see them until they like are entering. And they probably like arrive in a decadent vehicle and stuff like that. And it looks like they're about to enter the club in the normal way, like pay it. But instead they like walk around to like a different area through like the alleyway or something like that. And there's like shimmering on the sides of the walls as they move, and the camera makes it look like it could just be a trick of the light or whatever, right? And then they come through like the loading bay area or a VIP area or something like that. I wonder, do we want to go as ostentatious as they have their own seat or something in the club? Or
I like that idea.
yeah.
I also like the idea of them having to sit or wanting to sit like in the crowd and at a table with a bunch of like just regular patrons.
Ooh, or maybe it's maybe this is like a little flashback in the scene where the devil usually has their own seat, but Max like just put some other people there, like it's starting to work on the devil's like.
Oh, so it's like getting him pissed off a little bit, right? Like susceptible.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Yeah, like worming his way in. Cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it definitely seems like it would be somebody who would like feed off the crowd and get them stoked, especially if you're playing shitty, right? It would be like drive them into like the madness of crowds where you start throwing like cabbage and shit like that at them and stuff, right? Or worse, stuff like that. There's probably like urban legends about like someone who tried to get their pipes and was like stoned to death, literally, and it was like not in the 1800s. It was like 20 years ago.
Probably burned.
Cabbage to death.
Set alight.
I'm allergic to tomatoes and I got hit by one and it was the end. Yeah. Yeah, so situated in the crowd and maybe like, oh, I like the idea of Mac sending drinks. Like there's people that are going around asking for drinks. It's kind of like got the speakeasy set up where there's the dance floor, but there's also like the tables that are circular and propped up on the stands with like bar stools where people sit, where the lanterns and everything are. And then also he's like keeps ordering drinks, but Mac keeps like spiking it with like things to like adjust the person's mood, right? I like that. And then like when they get real douchey, they probably like take off their white suit and like start a mosh or something, right? In a speakeasy. That would be a real dick thing to do. So cool. And yeah, is it like I wonder, are you playing multiple songs or are you playing one song that is like a test of endurance or something, right? Like where it's like a 20-minute song that like builds on itself and crescendos or something.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. Or I was thinking of just I guess maybe it could be each song. Why not both? Each song kind of flows into the next, you know what I mean? And it's designed to like keep building and building. Like it's it like as often when you plan a set, you have like it's like a story, right? Like you build it up and there's like the little anti-climax and you come back down and then you peak and then trail off. Like I think maybe instead of this being that regular shape, it's just like a straight like just more and more intense as it goes along.
Maybe you could. Ooh.
If Yoshi's fine with this, I dig that it's that, but it's like layering all of the instruments of Kurt's like generations over top of it. So it's like so it's like maybe it starts off with like a guitar and then like you add in drums because that's what his like grandfather played, and then you add in like another like a horn instrument or whatever because that's what his like mother played. It's odd.
Yeah,
that's totally what I was gonna say too. Like it reminds me of a video of Talking Heads live, where it just starts out singing solo, and then each song there's progressively more layers, more instruments, I
Yeah.
really like that. And
Stunning.
maybe if it's like for Maggie's pipes, you can just start with her like drumming just like a set, and then slowly be added to the band.
Yeah, we all come onto the stage. I like that idea. And it kind of reflects like what I was saying with the older, like with the photos of Mac and like the, you know, that moving through time thing.
Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, I like that a lot. And it's yeah, that talking heads thing is the best visual performance I've seen. It, like stop talking sense, right? Is the performance, I think. But yeah, cool. I like that. You guys are the Decemberists up there playing Hazards of Love. You'll be sad by the end of this story. Or like the one with the Mariner's Revenge song where it's like Moby Dick. that's that's some cool stuff happening over here. Cool. So I think we'll go to roles and then let's make it like, well, I like that a lot then, because why don't we have each of you roll like a rolling stone and either hit running with the devil or man in the mirror, depending on what you want to do to hit it. And then you can say what your set is like, right? Like what the tone is, what the theme is, what you're attempting to convey with it. And then we can go to the next person and then it like flows naturally from person to person, right? That sound good? Who wants to go first? Who's the opener other than Maggie playing the drums, right? Who backs Maggie up?
I mean, I think it's actually probably me is that backs Maggie up, since I'm the one who's sponsoring her. So
Oh, right.
like I think if she's playing the drums, and like she does like a little like solo thing that goes into it, and then I come in and maybe she's still doing the beat initially, and like because I've got a fiddle, like I say something before I go out there of like the um that that's just to get you guys started, and I'm sorry for everything that you're gonna hear here, because once you hear what we've got to play tonight, you'll never want to hear anything else. And so forgive us for what we've got, because it's going to be a once in a lifetime experience that everybody else who isn't here, who isn't you, will never know what it was really like. And so like I think that's going to try to hit the man in the mirror and then rolling right into like a rolling stone.
Nice. I like that a lot. Yeah, and it's kind of got like a old-timey Apollo thing going on, right? Like
yeah.
if you weren't here to experience it, then like you're fucked, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then also the subtext of what you're actually trying to accomplish in the story, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right, so that is a 6 and a 1 plus my 2 soul plus the +1 forward gets me to a 10.
Nice. Okay. So, and what is it that you hope to accomplish with this particular set?
So I think what I am trying to do, I think the music that I play is amping up on what Maggie did. So it's a little bit like a percussive violin that comes in, but really what I'm trying to do is set the next person up, and like be that transition. So like it starts with the percussive violin to get like the energy in the crowd up with the drums, but like then shifting into something a little bit more melodic, to maybe bring in whoever is next. Who's the next person who's coming on?
I reckon there's got to be some harp now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Yeah, so like I think what it does is like it definitely like I have like a violin solo that comes, but then like I mellow down to just basically playing some sort of like backgrounds, like violin to let the harp come in and start taking over.
The other thing I was kind of thinking that it could be a like a conversation between the like harp and the fiddle. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, and in terms of how the crowd, like maybe it's that, you know, like long-term relationship breakup conversation, or telling someone about someone that's passed away, like, or something like that.
I love
Yeah,
that.
great. I slowly step onto stage and find a seat and start plucking the same notes that Kurt is playing, and then I stop and he plays some bars, and then I play off him, but more like higher and faster, and we exchange bars like that, and it's sounding like an argument, and then I think we both play at the same time, like loud and fast and furious, like sweating and like, and then we just stop and just start back where we started, with that, playing the same notes quite slowly and melodically. And do I have a roll now?
Yep. Roll with your soul, and unless you want to hit one of the running with the devil or man in the mirror to get an extra little edge on your roll. But you have to hit me with the color first.
Hit you with the color?
Well, like to hit the move.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. The fiction. Yeah. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, do you want, I'm gonna roll the yellow dice.
That's a good color. I approve.
I'm like putting my soul into this song to try and make people feel the anger and the frustration that I felt that day, yelling into the wind, and like feeling like the wind and my family were yelling right back at me, and feeling that shame and frustration, and like wanting something so bad, wanting to make people happy so bad, but like the ending bars is like that mournful regret that tinges the rest of your life after you sign that contract. So I rolled a 10.
That's pretty good. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll take that, thanks. So I think that was rolling like a rolling stone.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So I'd like to see the members of the audience, like some people are looking like they're not even listening anymore, and there's like up the back there's a couple of guys yelling at each other and you spilt my drink, that kind of crap, and there's couples sitting at tables giving each other the stink eye, like remembering a fight that they had yesterday or something.
Totally. I love it. Okay, who's next? I feel like maybe Lauren would be the finisher, right? Because he's like
That's
not
what I was
expecting
thinking.
it.
Yeah, just a sucker punch right at the end. Like we make him soften him up, and then unless you want to make him angry now, and then I can like hit him with some other thing afterwards.
I'm easy either way. Whatever is cool.
Cool. Okay, I'll go now. Oh yeah, we totally need a drum solo as well.
Yeah, I like that too. It's like part of her pipes, right? You guys go get like water and shit while she plays a little bit. You like go to the loo, drink some water, get refreshed, and the whole time she's just like
I love drum solos so much. Yeah, so sorry, I'm just looking for inspiration. What am I gonna do? Yeah, I think maybe it does. I think maybe. Oh man, can you guys hear? That's a possum in the wall. That knocking sound. It's like. Yeah, I think the music does drop back on now and like back off a bit, and it's like Wheelam. It's that anti Hell, that's really annoying. Shut up. That's the drum solo. It's that kind of anti-climax, like we've come up into that like conversation and it's dropping back off before like the big climax now. And have you guys heard sousaphone before?
I don't think so.
It's beautiful. It's kind of like a tuba, but you can wear it. It's like super low kind of bass instrument. But I think it could be quite. Oh yeah, maybe it's that. I think I'm kind of doing that foghorn, that lonely foghorn, in the mist kind of sound at first, like the. Yeah, and I think it's that kind of like slow, like very slow build up kind of like virtuosic kind of performance. So I guess I'm doing the like a Rolling Stone thing, but what am I trying to achieve? I guess our plan would be at this moment to like soften the devil up as much as possible for this sucker punch. So maybe actually what I show him is like what he has given me. Like I give him like this performance, like really clearly showing like everything that I'm able to do with this like instrument. So I guess I'm not trying to trick him beyond just doing what I can do. So I guess he's using like the full range of the instrument and maybe playing a little bit like outside the top part of the range of what the sousaphone's meant to be able to do. And then probably playing some passages like at a speed that's like kind of not possible on the without like breaking yourself sort of thing. Yeah, so I'll just roll my like a Rolling Stone move because I'm like almost anything is possible.
Yeah.
Oh man, I rolled big again. Yeah, I got an 11.
PBTA people.
Yeah, I feel like lying.
Well, that's why I deliberately made the pie so that there's always that last bit, right, where we can get some else other than you guys performing very well, because it makes sense to be good at this. So,
but I think maybe the performing well part is because I still want to I think is that I play so crazily. I think maybe he actually he's like it does break him a little bit. Like I think maybe his nose, like you see on the camera, like his nose is like starting to bleed a little bit because he's like playing like so crazily.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool. And then there was the last person, Laura.
So like I said in the chat, but just to get it on the record on the audio, is like I think that like after like that, like especially with the sousaphone with that like deep long thing, like there's probably some like at the end of your like solo, it just like stops and fades out for a moment, and like all of the rest of the instruments like drop and become silent, and then like there's like that moment before Lucy like steps out onto the stage.
And she's like fully wearing her like regalia of feathers and lace and dark goth stuff for sure. I I I think she comes out and she looks at this sort of like ambiguous patron in the crowd. And then she actually like turns around and starts singing to Maggie.
Oh, you Jim Morrison him.
I'm trying to hit on Running with the Devil first.
Right. Cool.
And I think when she starts, like she has that pristine like haunting. I think it's in theme with like the instruments that are on stage right now. Like we've got this sort of like harp and fiddle and like this percussion and horn. So it's got that kind of like Celtic quality to it. And she starts singing all the stuff like the devil wants Maggie to hear. I think it's appealing to her greed because I think that seems like it's if that's the language the devil speaks, that's what he uses to try and hook people in. So the lyrics are to the tune of like being loved and adored and held up and like worshipped as like she speaks the devil's word to Maggie. But and that's is that enough to satisfy that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, cool. And but then I think like during that verse, she like whips back around again and looks back at this anonymous patron, and then the lyrics become angrier, and she takes the voices that she's read from like all of Kurt's pages upon pages of like generations of her destroyed people, and sort of like spits that back out at the devil. And as she does this, like her voice cracks and it's like the worst thing you've heard. Like she can't keep tone anymore. It's so at odds with like the music that's playing behind her. It sounds more like death metal, like yelling than it does anything else. And you can see like she has like like the tears are like ruining her like goth makeup and stuff. And yeah, I think that's what that looks like before I go into my role. Trying to piss off the devil.
Sounds good. So you're kind of like intentionally, well, I don't want to say
Breaking
being
terms.
bad, but like, yeah, like you know that after all this, he wants to hear like really good stuff in keeping with the tone, but you're intentionally like breaking your voice sometimes when it, and just like yeah. So you're just like continuing to piss him off by like
But isn't
alternating
it
and
kind
stuff.
of because you're not singing his words? Are you suggesting that you can't, like your talent's gone with it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I'm fully breaking terms of the contract now. And I feel like when that's kind of like voided, it's like you don't get the good stuff anymore.
Right. Cool. All right, make the roll.
Oh, where am I? I've got way too many tabs open. Oh, hang on, I need to add another dice. second. Oh, cool. I got an 11.
Oh, you guys like 11s. 11s are pretty good.
Actually, no, I think because that's with soul, right? So that's more like a 14.
That's pretty good too. Not the worst. Cool. So it works, right? So there's only one pie left, right, to get the actual deal. So it means that like it's been exploited, right? So with lose one, he started to like have a nosebleed, like this androgynous person, right? So what do you think yours does to them? Like, how do you know they're like broken or whatever, right?
Their head explodes. I don't know.
Snap.
Ooh, what would look cool? I don't know. Wait, I'm open to suggestion.
It seems like it should be something, I guess, to show that they're either angry or experiencing, like, showing emotions that we haven't seen on them before, because that's kind of what we were like trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe they storm off, right, or something to like the VIP lounge or something to recuperate or something.
I want to see a table flip.
Oh yes, gotta get the table flip in there.
Right. Oh, and it probably is like, oh, I know what happens. So I think he like turns it up the lantern thing, right? He's the only one that does it, and then he gets booed by everybody else because he's the one doing it, and everybody else loved it, right? And he's doing the like, didn't you hear her? She sucked, and all this stuff, and everyone's like, no, you suck, that kind of stuff, and then he just like. Mac is kind of like grinning and like cleaning a glass or something, right? And then like he just storms back to the VIP lounge slash a place that he can't exit from too, right? Just to like get away, and that's when you can like maybe get at him and get something from him, that kind of thing. Does that sound good for everyone?
Sounds good. I think Lucy's shaking.
Yeah. maybe we get like a quick scene too before cutting to the cutting the agreement part. Is maybe we get a cool shot of Mac pinning the pipes on Maggie, right? And everybody like clapping and shit.
I almost like maybe the last segment is actually like happening in flashback to like re-signing the contract before the show happened with the guy. So like we cut back to whatever it was, and maybe it is me or somebody else, but like, or I think maybe it's all four of us are sitting at a table, maybe not here, but somewhere else, like with him, like, we'll bring in all the crowds. You know that when we play, everybody is going to want to play like us. That's going to leave them open to you. And we'll bring it all for you. All you have to do is show up and listen and take advantage of it. But no one takes your deal. You got to let us all go.
Oh, I like that. And then he got all booed, right? So then he knew that nobody was gonna sign with him and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because chances are like after this it's like open mic night or something like that, right? So people can go up and suck and he can be like, hey, you wanna play like these guys? Come over here to my table or whatever, right? I like that a lot. Cool. I wonder I think I know what the last slice is then. Maybe we get like a shot of you guys being like, okay, like contract fulfilled, all that kind of stuff, right? And I think he's like, no, she cheated. She doesn't get out of it, right? You guys, I can tell that you played your heart out, but she cheated. She's a liar. She stays with me.
And I look at him and I look at her and I'm like, you know that deal you have with my family? She goes free.
Do you think this is stay the course?
Sure. I'm terrible at that, but I will totally do it.
Well, you could get help from somebody too.
Yeah. Anybody gonna help me?
I will totally.
I want you to fail.
Awesome.
I will help you.
All right. What does it look like? How are you helping me? Is this like almost like you're not helping me, like you're trying to convince me not, but like all that does is just fires me up more to stay the course?
Yes, totally.
I'm like, no. You're younger than me. You have your life ahead of you. You've finally found your own voice. You can make that yours. I know what I'm getting into. It's the same deal I had before.
And I think she just is a lot of swearing and like, no, you can't do this. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, don't do this. Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm rolling.
So we'll see. What?
I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 3 on 3 dice. So that gets me a 5. With my -1, it gets me a total of 4.
Nice. And he's I think they like come up and there's like a darkening around him or them when they step up, right? And he points his hand at Lucy, right? And he's like, "No deal. You're coming with me." And then it's like executive producer, right? So we never really know. I like that.
Of course, it says executive producer, the devil.
Yeah. Or just like Beelzebub or something, right?
Yeah.
One of those names. Sweet. I like that a lot. I was like expecting that last pie to be like you just being like, okay, we're good, and no, that's bullshit. But instead it's like, yeah, it's more dramatic anyway to end with somebody at least not getting out, right? That's cool. And plus maybe you just convince later anyway, who knows, right? Cool. So I guess that's bargains. Pat yourselves on the back. That was really fun and awesome and good. Yeah, Ellen. I like it.
That was good.
I wish I was able to somehow like play you all the music from my brain that I was imagining it all sounded like.
Yeah, I was definitely getting that as well. I was like, ooh, this would be good. And definitely Maggie was all that whiplash music in my head. Where it needs to get the timing right. We're like all sweaty and going all crazy for like a long amount of time. So sweet. All right. I'll stop this.